I'm returning to this radio today from the last video, and I'm determined to get it to work. I'm going to try several ideas with that aim in mind. Hopefully by the end of the video we'll have audio from it. Now, to briefly set the scene, radio reception down here in rural southern Arkansas in the USA is much worse than it used to be at our old house. Now, Double M Innovations said on the last video, how does your car go on? What's reception like of your car radio? Well, let's have a look. And as you can see, we're scanning straight through the AM band. Absolutely nothing. Go for the source. FM. There's one. Straight through there. Yep, another station. That's 3.
Win one, pride.
4. Oh, that's it. 3 or 4 stations, that's it. I was trying several ideas, such as the antenna used to connect here via a 30 picofarad capacitor, and I found out that might be too much capacitance. So instead what I've got is a couple of wires, and you just tin one end of each of these 30 gauge insulated wire, twist round about 10 times, leaving those two unconnected to anything, and then you've got something like a 3 picofarad capacitor. So that's strange enough to want to try in the first case. So to demonstrate this change, I've got this green clip lead now connected where the antenna would normally go to, and that's going to a red wire that goes outside the window, so about 10 foot in length. Well, this is what happens when it's directly coupled. I'll turn the volume up over here, and you can see all we're picking up there really is mains at 60 Hz. So now I'll try and put that in the circuit and see what happens. Right, I've now got the twizzled wires on there instead of the 30pf capacitor, and I've now got a piece of metal such that I can attach this to it. So let's see if there's been a change. Oh, it's not making the 60 Hz hum. Can it be tuned at all? There's less volume than there was with the 30 picofarad. I think I'll keep looking for different capacitors, or in fact a tiny variable capacitor might be a good choice if I can find one of those. And as it turns out, yes, I do have a bag of very small value variable capacitors. So I picked this green one here. I don't know the exact values, but I only need somewhere around 3 to 5 pf. So the ability to change it, yeah, I'll put that on the circuit instead. Well, there we go, it's now in place, but there's nothing majorly different happened. At least it is variable on the input now from the antenna. So, moving on. There is one quite major improvement. You may remember this 27 MHz transmitter from the last video, and I had to be, well, around about 6 inches away from the antenna. And although you can't see this, you can hear it, and that's at arm's length away. So I appear to improve things. For that distance, yeah, my arm is right out to the side. I would say I'm about 4 feet from the antenna now. Anyway, I think that's an improvement. The next thing to try is a longer antenna. I don't know if you can see this on the screen. There's a little wire in the middle which I've got running about 80 feet, something like this, to this table over here. And I thought that would apply more to AM rather than FM, but anyway, we'll try it. Now, the next thing I want to do is, because when I'm trying to tune, I can hear things go past. You know, maybe you can hear those changes, and it's as though the tuning is too coarse. So if I put another one of those in series with that one, maybe that would help. And I've got enough space here in front of this variable capacitor to do so. Back in a minute. Now, I've also got to watch out what I'm doing with the back of this, because it is starting to get messy, but I'm going to be interrupting that wire there, and we'll put that either side of this variable capacitor. Well, interestingly, immediately You can hear, presumably, not much at all. And now when I plug this on, there's an increase in volume at least. I'll tell you what I find absolutely fascinating. I've got my Tiny SA spectrum analyzer here, and it's on a band between 80 and 108 megahertz. You can see that huge spike there, and that's at 91.1. If I turn the dial of the tuner of the radio, look at this, turn it to the right, that sweeps over to the right. I turn it to the left, and it sweeps back over to the left. So it is actually transmitting as well as receiving, and I know this circuit is often a basis of a transmitter and a receiver. I find that fascinating. Over to the right, there we go, back over to the left. Pretty incredible. Is that radio? It's a mess. But it's different. It's raining outside heavily, but I just heard radio. Oh man. I'm just slightly touching the tuner. I know I heard radio. It's a female voice. Let me try again, slightly tuning with the, there you go, with that. There. That's radio, it's got to be. Slightly turning it a bit more. Well, hey, we've got something. Well, the end result is I've kept messing around with this. I found this little speaker here that's amplified 3 volts, and that enables this to be portable now. Not that it looks very nice, but changes to the main coil. If I bring it near, you might be able to see I've changed the coil spacings, and that certainly helped. But I think ultimately the topology of this, the single transistor nature of it, is the limiting factor, but it did finally work. So, on the end of here now, I'll play the audio that I've just received indoors, and yeah, I'm kind of pleased with it. Definitely got to make a better radio than this though. Thanks very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.
Alright, the weekend's upon us. Welcome aboard. You're at home with Garrett Sutton. Brought to you by Timely